Hello Animals fans and welcome back to the Animals universe. We're doing another AniLysis today and it is on the EGS Tower. Look, from the board game there's actually a little cardboard cutout thing of the ESG Tower. EGS Tower! Damn it, I've already ruined today's main joke. EGS Tower comes primarily from book 7. It was mentioned again in book 17, but apart from that, yeah, it's pretty much entirely a book 7 thing. And what is the context of the EGS Tower? Well, this is what Firefly has done up for me, which is basically just your bog standard, roughly 60 floor skyscraper with a lovely background and some other buildings around it. So it's in the downtown area and it's one of the bigger buildings in the Animals' hometown. And what happens is the Animals go down to the Yeerk pool, as we know, from book 7, and the Ellimist stops time because they're about to be consumed by a taxon, and he shows them an image of a future, giving them the choice of you can either stay where you are now and experience this future, or I can take you away to some other world so you don't have to worry about these things. And so he takes them to a future which is like an apocalyptic wasteland where the Yeerks have won, okay? And this is where we get first introduced to the EGS Tower. The tallest building in town was the EGS Tower. It was 60 stories tall. It stood almost intact, but for some reason the top 2 floors had been sheared away, then covered with a glass dome. Pale sunlight sparkled off the dome. It was almost like a beacon. The Yeerk pool was a busy little place. Controllers coming and going. The host bodies were shoved into cages and dragged back out when it was time. There was a steady procession along the 6 different piers, draining out and taking in Yeerks. Over it all loomed the EGS Tower, topped off by the glass dome. Why put a Yeerk pool here? I wondered aloud. I mean, there's all kinds of open areas. Why go to the trouble of removing the buildings that were here? It's not like this is exactly a scenic location. In this vision of the future, the EGS Tower basically looks like this, but on top it's got like a dome, picture like the top of a dome ship, put on top of this tower. And so the Animals look at it and think, the EGS Tower is looking a bit weird today. Anyway, here's the Yeerk pool. And they don't at first put 2 and 2 together. All the other buildings around it have been leveled to make room for this Yeerk pool, which on this picture I just imagine is like here. So all that gets leveled out and taken up. Some of the buildings around the area get pulled down and they just build a massive Yeerk pool in front of this massive tower. And it was confirmed there that it is actually the largest building in town. So even though this little figure is little tiny, it's actually big and monstrous, and you can tell, look, EGS. EGS. This was actually probably the best model that was ever made for the Animals series, wasn't it? I mean, you've got the figurines, the Transformers, but no, this beats them all out, surely. It's the most accurate. I mean, it's cuboidal. This building with the dome on top shines like a beacon in this apocalyptic Yeerk wasteland. But that's all we see about it in the future. It's later on in the book when the Animals are back in their own time, their own place, and they're starting to think about things that they think, maybe the Ellimist was actually trying to show us something. What if we just happened to see another way? What if the Ellimist showed us the future, trying to convince us to let him take us away, and we just happened to see a way out? What way out? Jake demanded. The Kandrona. He let us see where the Kandrona is, I said. That Yeerk pool downtown, that's the key. Why build a Yeerk pool downtown? Why level so many buildings to make room for it? Why leave the EGS Tower still standing? And why is there a glass dome on the top floors of the EGS? Axe is the one who said it. The Yeerk pool is the centre of their lives. That Yeerk pool, I think, is a shrine. Almost a holy place to them. It's where they located the first Kandrona to be placed on planet Earth. Jake snapped his fingers. The EGS Tower. That's what's under the dome on the top floors. The Kandrona. That's what the Ellimist wanted us to see. So they figure it out. The EGS Tower is the shrine in this Yeerk future. This probably fictional Yeerk future that the Ellimist showed them. And it made clear that this one building had remained, and they put the beacon, the big dome on top, and it shone over this vast Yeerk pool. So maybe the Kandrona is in the EGS Tower. So the animals formulate a plan. Back in their own time, of course, they think we are going to take out the Kandrona, which we suspect is at the top of the EGS Tower, the top 2 floors of the EGS Tower. And this is where we get some descriptions of the tower itself, because up to this point, what we learned, that it's about 60 stories tall, and it's the tallest in the town. But here is where we actually start to get some descriptions, and we're just going to take it as the animals did. We're going to start from the bottom as they enter, work our way up to the top, and see what's up there. Let's start from the bottom. At 5:10 in the morning, the EGS Tower's windows were almost all dark. From the deeply shadowed plaza in front of the building, we could see a sleepy, uniformed guard inside the lobby. There are dozens of businesses and law firms and stuff in this building, Jake warned. Most of them are probably just normal people. Fortunately, at this time of day, no one will be around here. But the guard is probably just a normal guy. How do we deal with him without hurting him? Cassie asked. Suddenly, Tobias swooped down out of a dark sky. I can't see anything useful through the windows up there, he said. Too bad that glass dome is still in the future. But I can tell you one thing. Something up there is giving off some heat. I'm getting a beautiful updraft from the building itself. While the rest of us lurked in the shadows, Marco, now an extremely large, powerful gorilla, knuckle-walked to the glass door. He stood up on his hind legs and tapped with one massive finger on the glass. The guard jerked in his seat. He stood up and moved cautiously closer. Then he drew his gun. The guard's eyes went wide. I'm not! He hissed. Oh, so you are a controller? Good, that makes it so much simpler. With that, Marco punched straight through the thick glass of the door. So from those quotes, what can we gather? It's basically like any other skyscraper downtown. So you've got the plaza just outside the front. So like it's the base foundation of it with the structures a bit different, tends to stick out a bit more, like just picture a Manhattan hotel or something, I think. What even is a plaza? I'm going to look it up. What is a plaza? A public square, marketplace, or similar open space in a built-up area. A shopping centre. Okay. So actually I was sort of wrong on that, but the thing is we don't really have tall buildings like this, so plazas are just not really a thing where I'm from. But yeah, I stand corrected. So the plaza is basically like this bit here on the front of this picture, where there's just a bit of an open space surrounding a building. It's like the built-up area just around the building, but there's no buildings. It's just like that, basically. You got like a few trees there, a few benches. But it's got glass doors, much like this image. I know you can't really see it from there, but you know the typical glass doors that you get in skyscrapers. I'm just picturing in my head, right? I'm just picturing walking around New York, because I did that a few years ago, and it is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I mean, I was there for... How long was I in New York? I think it was 7 days. And by the end of it, I was like, I need to go home. Yeah. I was happy to have visited, and I can say I did it. But after 7 days, it's like, nah, I've had enough of this. I'm not used to these city folk. But when you're walking around New York and you're looking up, and it's like something out of a weird dream from a British person who comes from the southwest, such as I do. And the tallest buildings around here are maybe like 3 meters tall. It's like the freaking Shire from Lord of the Rings, everywhere you go. But yeah, just to look up and say, whoa, there's buildings like going up there, man. It's like they touch the ceiling of the world, and yeah, it's wacky and wild, and I'm just not used to it. But some people live that. I can't actually remember where this tangent. Oh, that's what it is. And a lot of these places, so a lot of the massive buildings like hotels or business places, they have these. It's just like a line of glass panels, and some of those turn out to be doors. That's what I see in my head when I think of all the skyscrapers like I saw in New York. It's all just glass everywhere. And that's what I'm picturing here. So the animals have walked up to just like a big glass panel with door handles on it. Like that's clearly an entrance. Like there's maybe some steps leading up to it, like a couple of pillars, like an overhang over the top. And there's a uniformed guard in the lobby. And he's got a gun. And it turns out he's a controller, by the way, which does sort of raise suspicions that maybe, yes, there is something at the top of this tower and the guards, or at least the guard, you'd think there'd be more freaking guards than just the one, wouldn't you? For another Kandrona. Well, yeah, especially when the place is quiet. That's another thing, the area is very quiet. which I think is a very 90s thing. I get the feeling that places have gotten busier over the last 20 odd years or so. It's just my feeling. Especially in a place like this, like in what is meant to be sort of like California. I can't imagine 5:10 in the morning. It's just going to be silent as an undisturbed piece of paper. That's the analogy I'm going for. It's more of a it's an analogy. So metaphor or oh whatever. Sharp. I'm not rambling. You're rambling. Anyway, Marco basically knocks out this guard who, for whatever reason, has come right up to the door. So he just punches through the glass and knocks out this guard who's got his gun out, but he wants to just stand right next to the door where Marco is. So, stupid guard. And he's got no backup. So, the animals go into the lobby of this massive skyscraper known as the EGS Tower. Keep ruining the joke that's supposed to happen at the end of the video. Might as well just not bother now. I barreled into the rest of the glass door. I was careful, but not too careful. I wasn't very worried about being hurt. Shattered glass flew everywhere. Cassie, Axe and Jake leapt over the glass shards. Jake raced for the elevator. There may be an alarm. We have to move fast, Jake said. We'll never fit in one elevator, Marco said. Head for the freight elevator. That'll hold us, Jake said. Go for the top floor. Cassie and Axe kept an eye on all activity on the ground floor while they waited for the elevator to come back down. Jake, Mark and I had the most firepower, so we went in first. We squeezed our combined bulk into one freight elevator car. Not an easy thing to do, but we managed it. There was a safety inspection certificate mounted on one wall. I leaned very close to make out the letters and read it aloud. Says here maximum load is 20 people. Suddenly I realised there was music playing in the elevator. The usual stupid elevator music. So we proceed forward. The animals have knocked out this guard. They've all morphed, by the way, and nobody... Look, you're in a busy downtown area. 5:10 in the morning, people are still going to work. People are still probably working. This is what I mean by I think 20 years ago, maybe things just weren't as busy during the darker hours. And maybe it's just the more modern world we live in, but... a freaking gorilla, a tiger, and whatever else... bounding into the biggest building in downtown. In downtown, and nobody sees, and there's one guard, and it's just like, just your average Joe robber could have done this as well. Just knocked out the one guard and gone and stolen his wallet. I don't know. They run through, and then they find the elevator. So I'm imagining this is all on the same floor. I'm not actually doing diagrams, by the way. I know that's something I usually do when I talk about places, but having done the research, there really isn't enough detail to make any sense of the layout of this building at all. So I haven't even bothered. So they go in, knock out the guard, and then there are two elevators. There's a maintenance elevator, which the bulkier animals use, so that is Jake, Rachel and Marco. And then Cassie and Axe, the more lithe creatures, the axe, the Andalite and the wolf, go in the regular elevator, but they have to wait a bit longer. But we've got no idea where these elevators are relative to each other or relative to the main entrance, hence why I haven't done a diagram. I'm just imagining the lobby is one square room and the elevators are just there in front. Just walk past the reception desk where the guard was staying, and there's the elevators right there. Because they don't spend any time wondering about, oh, where are the elevators? It's just like, we're in the elevators now. And speaking of the elevator, Rachel, in her grizzly morph, goes into the maintenance elevator. There's a safety certificate on the wall of the elevator, and there's there's elevator music playing in the background. Just in case you wanted to know what the maintenance lift inside the EGS Tower was like. There you go. It's large enough to fit or hold 20 people. Or in other words, a grizzly, a gorilla and a tiger. It holds them well enough, you know, it makes it up to the top. They then emerge onto the top floor, eventually, of the EGS Tower after some quite rubbish banter, but regardless, they make it there anyway. My claws gouged the carpeted floor with every step. "Watch out, Rachel!" Cassie called. "There's a door straight ahead of you." "Nah, there's no door," I said, and ploughed all my 800 pounds into a steel door that popped open like the lid of a jack-in-the-box. Inside, 8 Hork-Bajir warriors stood ready. This is where quite a major battle takes place, and probably the most major battle of the first run of books. I'm trying to remember. So, book 1 wasn't much of a battle. Book 2 is a bit of a battle. Book 3, basically no battle. Book 4, underwater skirmish of Taxxons, not really a proper battle. Book 5, there is a bit of a battle, but they're just running. It's no sustained battle. They're just running through a bunch of Hork-Bajir. Book 6, no real battle. Book 7, this is where we get our first major battle, and it happens here at the top of the EGS Tower, right behind the bit where it says EGS, I'm sure. So this is the first major battle, and this brings me on to something I'm very happy to say, is that I'm starting a new series on this channel, and I haven't named it as of the recording of this video, and I haven't actually recorded the first video while recording this video, but the research is all done for it, and it's basically a series analysing every battle, how each battle unfolds, where all the people are and how things interact, and I think we're going to have a fair bit of fun with that one, and we're going to do it in chronological order as well. So yeah, speaking of battles, that will happen some point soon, I'm sure. Looking forward to it. We also learnt there that the flooring on the top floor is carpeted. It doesn't describe the type of carpet, but we know that it's carpeted, right? So it's not tiles, it's not laminate, it's carpet. Just in case you were writing a fan fiction with the EGS Tower on the top floor, the floor is carpeted. Know that. We learn a few more details as we go into this battle, so I'll give you now the quotes where we learn just a little bit more about the place. I charged again and hit a Hork-Bajir in the stomach. I carried him along with my momentum as he slashed wildly at me. Crash! I'd hit something. Glass. It had shattered. A window. I'd shoved the Hork-Bajir through the window. The Hork-Bajir had had enough. Maybe it was hearing one of their fellows fall 60 stories. We were in a large office. I could see that now with my human eyes. Desks lay splintered. The carpet was ripped into ribbons. The walls were gouged. Floor-to-ceiling windows formed one wall. They were shattered. I remembered the Hork-Bajir falling and shuddered. There was a door in one wall. So what we can gather from this is that the top floor of the EGS is largely made up of one office. It is a bit strange that they emerge from the elevator and charge forward, and there's one door and it leads to this large office. So maybe there is another one, but on the other side, but from what we see, this is the main office on this top floor, and it's basically carpeted flooring, desks, one door which leads back to the elevator, and that's all we really get given. So maybe it was like a typical office that was largely cleared, but there are a few desks left there, and I'm just picturing this in my head, and it's like a funky coloured carpet. And all around on 3 sides you have these, as it describes, floor-to-ceiling glass panes. Which, I don't know, is that normal for the top floors of the things to just be glass pane and nothing to sort of stop anyone from falling into it? Because that would give me some serious fear of height stuff going on. If I like stumbled and just knocked into this glass, even if it didn't come out, I just knocked into this glass, I'd... Ooh! You know, that sort of thing. But then again, I'm not a city boy. I don't do good with heights. That's why, like Axe in the TV series, I've never gotten a flying morph, because I'm not good with heights. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my TV series reviews. But yeah, a largely abandoned office with not much going on in it, just a few desks lying around. That is now trashed because there was a big bugger off battle between a bunch of Hork-Bajir and basically the bulk of the Animals team for the large majority, and it gets ruined. But then we move into another room. So yes, there is another room, but this is how it's described. A bare room, tile floor, white painted walls. The wall of windows was blocked by heavy curtains. The room was empty but for a large, massively built platform in the very centre. It was a steel pedestal, maybe 3 feet high, 8 feet long. And atop that pedestal was a machine the size of a small car. It was shaped like a cylinder, tapered to dull points on both ends. It gleamed brightly like new chrome, as if it had just been polished. And it made a slight, low humming noise. As I approached, I felt my hair stand on end from the static electricity. It was warm in the room, very warm. It smelled like lightning. "The Kandrona," Axe said. So let me just sort of get this straight. They've come through the door from the elevator and they've blocked it off. So now the one door, there is one door left. I am actually going to draw this. Hold on a minute. So I'm thinking this, right? I've actually changed my mind as I sometimes do in the midst of an analysis. So maybe the elevator's in the middle of the building and the Animorphs emerge into this bulky room here, which takes up maybe like a third of the top floor. And you've got Hork-Bajir around here. This is Hork-Bajir. Yes, they got Hork-Bajir in here. And this room here is the Kandrona room. So the animals barge through here. After the battle, they put a big desk there in front of the elevator door. And then they go through this other door that's in the wall over here. And that's where we enter the Kandrona room. So that's now my sort of thinking of what's going on the top floor of this building. Who knows what's going on? Oh, go away. Who knows what's going... I'm not trying to do there. Who knows what's going on here? Or if that exists at all. But this is why we don't really get any layout, really, from the book. This is where it's too much speculation. I can't make any sense of it. This Kandrona room, the windows are all blocked off by curtains so people from the outside can't see what's going on in this thing. The carpet has been replaced by white tile flooring. There's this big pedestal and there's the Kandrona sitting in the middle like a big car, just sitting on this pedestal here. And the animals are able to smash this thing through the glass. It drops 60 floors and there was probably an old lady that got smashed by it at the bottom, but we don't care about her. So the Kandrona goes, whee, smash, oh no, bang. And there we go. That's the end of that Kandrona. But the Elmist does make a comment later down the line. A replacement Kandrona will be here in 3 of your weeks. It was already on its way. So there's going to be another Kandrona coming in. Thing is, it's probably going to go into a completely different tower, because not even the Yeerks are stupid enough to put it back into the EGS Tower. Surely. It does make you wonder why this never comes up again. So the Elmer says, in 3 weeks' time there will be a new Kandrona, and the animals are just like, cool, we won't remember that, and we'll never act on it. We'll never search for this new Kandrona, wherever it may be. For we are the lords of the dance, said we. It's just one of those things. It's similar to how Book 8 never got followed up on in pretty much any regards. This sort of dropped off by the wayside as well. It causes damage. So the destroying of the Kandrona at the top of the EGS Tower did cause a lot of issues for the Yeerks. And then it just got solved and everyone carried on with their day. And the animals never think, let's find the next Kandrona and do it again. They never do that. They never think, maybe we should find it. I mean, it's car size. And we know that it has to be like up high so the beams spread. That seems to be the implication of putting it at the top of the tallest tower. So the implication there, because they could have easily put it into the Yeerk pool. Why would they not put it into the Yeerk pool? It's clearly got to radiate outwards. So why would they not search for another Kandrona in the knowledge that it's got to be somewhere where it can radiate outwards? It's got to be up high. We never get... Maybe they kept it on the blade ship, I don't know. But it would have been nice for them to explore the possibility of finding it. But they never did. But that's not the EGS Tower's fault. That's not your fault, little EGS Tower. So, the EGS Tower is... I mean, we never see it again. It never plays a role, and that's probably because the Yeerks were smart enough never to use it again. So, the top floor's probably got refurbished, and we know that there are loads of businesses and firms in this building, and they probably just carry on as normal, really. And it just became another building that the Animals never needed to explore again. The Yeerks avoided, because they knew that the Andalites knew about it, so it probably just got left in peace. Until the Yeerk pool got blown up at the end of the series, and the EGS Tower probably went, Ah! 'Twas a sad day. The EGS Tower being in downtown, basically in the centre of town, probably went down with the ship. The Yeerk ship. No, not the Yeerk ship, not the actual Yeerk ship. I'm talking metaphorically again. Or am I? No, it's just a turn of phrase, Adam. What am I doing? It's supposed to be Saturday. I'm supposed to be like buzzing with brain cells. But no, my brain cells have buggered off again, haven't they? I'm just rambling incoherently. EGS Tower. Or should it be called the ESG Tower? See, this was supposed to be where the joke would start, and not peppered throughout the video by accident. It was going to be a whole thing about, oh, ESG, it was a Yeerk plot all along. But, yeah, I think the moment's gone, really, hasn't it? There was something about the animal's predictive power when it came to high-rises. So, like Book 37 was a bit spooky. And this one as well. That ESG is an alien plot to destroy humanity. But whatever, let's move on. The joke died a long time ago in this video. So let's be serious and just discuss things, the implications of this. So the Yeerk Kandrona is guarded by one guard on the bottom floor, and then nothing till the 8th floor, basically a door outside. Right, put it this way. What if the Animorphs stopped off at the 59th floor? One floor below where all the Hork-Bajir were hanging out and where the Kandrona is. What if they then went to the room that was beneath the Kandrona room, and let's say that they were in fact Andalite bandits, and they shredded a hole in the floor and the Kandrona dropped through and they destroyed it there without having to worry about the Hork-Bajir? Or better yet, why not just do a Rachel and fly a plane into the bloody building? Do you think if the Yeerks genuinely thought these were Andalite bandits, that they wouldn't just fly a drone into the building or something? Because the Andalites clearly don't care about humans. Why do the Yeerks have this impression that Andalites give a damn about a bunch of humans? Because they never give a damn about any other race ever. So why would they make that assumption? Why put the Hork-Bajir? It's so confusing. The Hork-Bajir were just there all the time, just on the top floor of this building. Considering there was no curtains covering the glass. Remember, the distinction was made that in the Kandrona room there was curtains pulled up in front of these glass panes. But in the room where all these, was it like 8 Hork-Bajir where they were hanging out? They just get a free view of the city for the whole day. And, you know, maybe a helicopter flying over might just see inside, but I don't know, maybe Yeerks control all their helicopters? I don't freaking know. It just doesn't make much more sense than I think should be necessary. That was a weird sentence. Yeah, there's a lot of questions, and it's all sort of up in the air. Not quite literally. But I can't really make much sense of it. Regardless, the EGS Tower is quite iconic, really. I mean, look, it's the final piece of the Animorphs board game. How much more impactful do you want to be? And it has the first major battle and the first major Animorphs victory. And it happened right there in the ESG Tower. Adam, stop with the crap jokes! I don't think there's much more to say, really. It was a very important thing, but once it had served its purpose, quite rightly, it sort of got forgotten about, because why would the Yeerks revisit it? Why would the Animorphs need to revisit it? So yeah, it just sort of faded into the background and probably got destroyed in the end. So rest in peace, EGS Tower. A valuable addition to the series, though brief. So let's look at what's next in the AniLysis series. It's time to spin the wheel again to find out what's in the next episode of AniLysis. And I haven't made any progress in the audiobooks, so it's still from book 1 up to and including book 27, with some of the side books thrown in as well. So we can have anything from Josep something to Unibank, all the way down to TT. What's it going to be, everyone? Let's see what the Spin the Wheel game has to say. Babby boo bee doo 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 doo. Skunk Morph. We've already covered the skunk kits. So for a second now I thought, haven't we already done that? But no, we've done the skunk kits. So in a way we will be revisiting the skunk kits, but from a different perspective. So we'll be looking at Skunk Morph next time, and doesn't that sound exciting, everybody? I don't hear you cheering. Why don't you come on, cheer? Say, yeah! I don't know how to react now. It's either a case of me pretending I heard you say yeah and going good job, or me pretending that you didn't say it and getting angrier. I'm sort of stuck between both worlds, but once again I've now completely ruined the bloody joke! Anyway, Skunk Morph next time. I've rambled on long enough. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you somewhere else in the Animals universe. Cheerio!